Hey y'all, it's Stacy with SouthernBite.com. We're back in the kitchen today making another Thanksgiving favorite, Southern cornbread dressing. Now this is an absolute must on our table at Thanksgiving. When it comes to recipes across the board, this is one that has to be there. So let me show you how quick and super easy this really can be. I'm going to start with a small onion that I'm going to dice pretty finely. Now a yellow or a white onion, either one will work fine for this. Now the reason we're cutting this super fine is this only bakes for about 30 to 40 minutes. And since we're not cooking this in advance, sometimes the texture of raw onion in this is a little unpleasant. So if we dice it finer, it's going to cook through faster. That said, if you're one of those people that really needs to avoid that crunch from onion, you could saute this in a little butter on the stovetop before you add it in, and that will solve that problem for you. All right, we've got a large bowl here. In this bowl, we're going to crumble our cornbread. Now I've got a skillet of cornbread here. This is about a 10¼ inch size skillet. You're going to need about 7 cups of crumbled cornbread. Now, this exact recipe, the one that I use in this recipe, is on the website. If you search SouthernBite.com for cornbread dressing and just keep scrolling to the bottom, you'll find this recipe as well as the recipe for the cornbread also. This recipe doesn't have any sugar in it. It's a super simple recipe that's just cornmeal, an egg, some vegetable oil, and some buttermilk. Super simple. And I feel like that kind of cornbread makes the best cornbread dressing. All right, so you can see here, we're just crumbling this right in. Now, I have seen my grandmother many times also add in some regular, what she calls white bread or light bread, which would just be like sandwich bread or loaf bread. She said it helps to keep it moist. So if that's a thing that you've seen in your family, I think you should probably do that, because we all know that moms and grandmas, however they make it, is the right way to make it, right? Okay, so we've got our cornbread crumbled right in here in our big bowl. To this, we're going to add that onion that we just diced up. Get that right in there. Okay, next we're going to add our cream of soups. Now I know cream of soups get a bad rap, but you know what? They make cooking easy, and in my case, cornbread dressing doesn't taste like cornbread dressing unless it's got some cream of chicken and some cream of celery soup in it. So for me, these are a must in the recipe. If you're an overachiever and like to make your own cream of soups, more power to you. I think you should absolutely do that also. But for me, opening this can makes it super easy, and it tastes just like I remember. So look at this. We've got our can stuck here. All right, here we go. Now, you could add chopped celery as well, but my family, we use cream of celery. So we've got a can of cream of chicken and a cream of celery. That way we have both of those flavors in this dish. Next, I've got 2 cups of chicken broth. Now, if you're making turkey, this is the perfect opportunity to get some of that turkey broth to add into your dressing. If you're not making turkey, you can just use prepared, boxed, or canned chicken broth. That'll work just fine in this recipe. You might want to strain it, run it through some cheesecloth or coffee filter or something like that just to get the chunks out of it. Other people will love the chunks, so you just dump it all in. You're going to need about 2 cups of broth. Now this is going to look pretty soupy, and that's perfectly fine. We actually want it to be soupy because what's going to happen in the oven is the cornbread's going to continue to absorb that moisture. And if we start with a mixture that's dry, we're going to end up with a mixture that's even more dry. So with this being pretty soupy, pretty liquidy in the beginning, we're going to end up with dressing that's got that nice, delicious flavor. Now, stop for just a second. A lot of people enjoy what they call chicken and dressing, right? So it's classic cornbread dressing that has chunks of chicken in it. You can follow this exact recipe up until this point and add in about 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken right now, stir it together, and bake it the exact same way, and you've made chicken and dressing. To this, we're going to add a little salt and a little pepper. Now, the amount of salt that you're going to want in this is going to be entirely dependent on how salty that broth is that you used, as well as your cornbread recipe. All right, now, we also don't use any sage, any poultry seasoning. For me, that's just not what dressing tastes like because my grandmother never used it, my mother never used it. But if that is an important flavor in your family, in your tradition, now's the time that you would add that. All right, we've got our 9 by 13 inch baking dish here that we've sprayed with non-stick cooking spray. We're just gonna pour this right into our dish. Let's see here. Spread this smooth. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. This is gonna go right in the oven. Bakes for 30 to 40 minutes until it's nice and golden brown and firmly set. And that's dressing, folks. Look at how quick and easy, just a few ingredients, and you've got this perfect Thanksgiving favorite for your menu. You can find this recipe, the cornbread recipe, and a delicious turkey gravy recipe that you're gonna wanna pour all over this on the website at southernbite.com. Y'all enjoy.